Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week of our social workers in research peer support. So, Doug, what's been happening in your research world this week?
Well, I found out my supervisor is stepping down.
Hmm.
So she's stepping
Far
down from
out.
the, sorry, Emery.
Far out.
Yes, I know, third
Yeah.
one. I still have no associate, but I've got one in the wings that might be coming on board. That she was on the panel during the COC, which is good. Um, I found out that a lot of the training that I had organised had online training had actually gone to my junk folder on Outlook, so I missed it.
That was
So
the training from Claire Moran.
yes, and she broke one of her wrists. That's why she wasn't getting back so quickly
Oh,
with her emails.
oh my Lord, what
Yeah.
happened?
I don't know. It was on LinkedIn.
Oh, I'll have to go and have a
Yes,
look at that. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So that's why she didn't get back so promptly. Um, but yeah, apart from that, I've been having to work on my literature review and from two chapters, shrink it down to one chapter, shrink it down even further to about 8,000 words, maybe.
Rather than shrinking it, are you able to incorporate it into another chapter so that you actually have another chapter like
I
well
had
on the
two
go?
chapters to start with, two
Yeah.
literature chapters to start with, but Kim suggested it because it's a master's now, permanently a master's, it's probably best to have it as one standalone literature review chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got to include environmental sociology amongst all the other stuff and try and squeeze it in and make it more concise.
So all I can hope for you is that whoever is going to be your new supervisor does not
Mm,
want to change the theoretical forwardness of this
yeah.
thesis, because this is just ridiculous.
Mm.
Yeah. And Doug, I am so deeply sorry. I know the disruption with supervisory panel changes.
Oh, guess what
Yeah.
Tara's doing now?
What's Tara doing?
She's sent her last final, not a final, her latest audio book. It's about
How to cope with no supervisors or something like that.
yeah,
I saw that.
rescue yourself or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't wait to listen to that one.
Yeah, me too. I'll be having that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my gosh. And plenty of fodder for her. Like this is all data
Yeah.
for how universities are failing HDR students.
Mm.
And it's not the individual's faults. You know,
No.
I'm not laying blame at any of those supervisors. Life goes on just as life intervenes for us, life
Yeah.
does for them. But the model of supervision that the universities are pushing seems to be incomplete somehow for successful graduation of theses.
Mm.
So, Doug, I'm very, very sorry.
Yeah, and Friday I spoke to Judy. Oh, um, such an H. Judith Franklin H. She's spoken to you anyway, Megan. So you might know the person. And she was going to approach Kim as a supervisor, but because she thought Kim would be a good match, but she's stepping down and relocating back to Melbourne sometime soon, and is dropping me as a student and a few other PhD students, and taking a few that are near completion with her, I think.
As associate or as principal?
And as both principal and associate.
Okay, so CDU
I
must be
think mainly
allowing
as
her to
principal. She's
do,
got 9 students as
yeah,
principal supervisor, and she's dropping some and taking a small amount with
yeah.
her.
Okay, so if she's taking a small amount, at least that recognizes that they're are some students who you just can't drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember what happened to Julie Gelman. She was six
Mm.
weeks off finishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's now just had her, I didn't get to go to it. Was that
No,
her
I missed it. I
final?
totally forgot about it. And
Yeah.
she had her final one
Yeah.
last week.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Poor Julie. That's
Mm.
been a big effort for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. This supervision of HDR, I don't know. And I don't actually have any solutions to offer them
No.
because it must be distressing to them too, knowing that they're letting people down.
Yeah.
But in terms of complete thesis support, that is the best supervision you will ever have.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yes, I
anyway.
signed up to that one last night
Yeah. Well
in
done to
secrecy,
you.
so no
Yeah.
one else knows about it at home.
And her videos are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like having her there.
Mm.
Okay, thanks, Doug. So, Anne
Yep.
Marie, what's happening for you in your research world this last week?
Yeah, so I had supervision, and I did end up having all my supervisors, but like it was a bit funny because walking and talking and as they rush to get to their office to actually be there on time to do it. So, it is a lot of pressure on them
Yeah.
as well to try and fit in fit in this stuff. Um, but yeah, so in my discussions with them, I've found some, I know, gaps in my the literature that I've
Hmm.
got. Um, so yes, I've been going and filling that in. However, I watched um Claire, is it? Who did the AI thing during the
Yep.
Yep.
week? Yeah. So I watched I attended that and was introduced to Research Rabbit. And I'm very wary of AI stuff and using it in writing and that. But this Research Rabbit is just about searching for articles. And I figure that, like, when you use Google search or Google Scholar, or you use the search engines on the
Being or
library and
yeah.
that sort of thing, they're all using data matching,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stuff. So I figured, yes, I'm okay with that. And it is just amazing. Um, so in that, like, I could put in just into the search the same as I'd put into the library search, and it came up with all these papers, and you can just click on them and see the abstract of them. You can put them in timeline order. They arrange themselves in little networks that are sort of, well, these ones are about this bit of the search you put in, and this bit's about that bit. And stuff that didn't come up with the same sort of search terms in the library searches. Um, that
Interesting.
it was really good, and it'll do the export to my EndNote of
Cool.
the citations and
Hmm.
stuff. If there's a freely available PDF, it'll be there for you to click on and access. So yeah, I found it. I've really gone down the rabbit hole.
So this is it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
reimagine research. Is it free to sign
It's
up to?
free. It's free. Yeah.
Good. Yep.
Okay.
Free. Yeah.
Well,
And see
that's
the networky thing it's got there. Um, yeah, so and you can click on each of those little nodes and and see the next bit, or you can click on that you want more stuff by the same author, or you want more
Yeah,
stuff, more similar stuff, you want later stuff, earlier stuff. And yeah, it shows the connections
yeah,
between the different research so that yeah, you get the latest
yeah,
version
yeah.
sort of thing of it. Yeah, that it's
Wow. Okay.
Uh, yeah,
So
or
this
you
is
can put a paper in that you found, and then it'll find more like that for you, But I just put in, the search thing that I was interested in, early childhood, in remote areas, and yeah, a socio-ecological framework. So, and it's come up with, yeah,
wow.
all this stuff, and yeah lots and lots of it relevant. Some was older than I wanted, but
Okay.
I can, yeah, but lots and lots of stuff, even down to because I put in remote, it came, had Indigenous stuff and stuff about I know methodology stuff as well. So it had stuff about using photo voice stuff. It had stuff about using yarning. Um, yeah, it was just quite incredible. And
You know
yeah.
that Claire is big on photo voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, she loves it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so and one of the articles that I thought, because I'm using yarning as part of what I'm doing,
Mhm.
um, but it divides yarning up into different types of yarning, and yeah, the research around that, yeah, so yeah, I was still up at like 1 o'clock last night. Playing with this stuff and all. Yeah, I just got all excited about this research, and like I use EndNote, but one of my supervisors said to me that like he uses Excel to put all his stuff in. And so what I've actually started doing is putting it into an Excel sheet just with the author and the name of the article and the link and that sort of thing. But then just put in a couple words about what the
Mhm.
thing is, not doing, whole sentence things, just a couple of words about what that is. And then I've sorting them into, instead of having it alphabetically and that sort of thing, I've sorted them and color coded them. So this is sort of where I'm going to start with, and then we'll move to this bit and
Great
move to this
idea.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so thematic analysis.
it is. And that's when I was putting all these colors in. I thought, oh, I'm all ready for doing
Yeah.
the thematic
Yeah,
analysis stuff.
absolutely.
Um, but it's really good because otherwise I found I'd read stuff but had forgotten
Mhm.
that I wanted to include that little bit as well.
Yeah.
But by ordering them in, like this is, the general early childhood stuff, and then this is about remote
Yeah.
stuff, and this is Indigenous stuff, this
Yeah.
is Normanton stuff.
Yeah.
And it's quite incredible the amount of Normanton stuff I have found on colonial history stuff. Like I knew I've got I had the centenary book, and I had a book written by an Aboriginal guy years ago about the Aboriginal history
Mm.
of Normanton, and that sort of thing. But yeah, in my searching, I found an article written by the person who sort of set up kindergarten in Normanton. The
Mhm.
church set it up, but yeah, she was the bishop's wife or something, and she was a kindy teacher, and
Is
she saw
that
it as
Valerie
a
Hall
way,
Matthews by any chance?
yeah, yeah.
I know Valerie. Yeah.
And but she had seen it as a way of integrating the Aboriginal and the white population, but at the same time, most of the Aboriginal people were still living up in the reserve
Yeah.
area. They weren't
Yeah. They
living
weren't
in town.
integrated. Yeah.
Yeah, and that the town had actively, only probably 10 years previously, really actively rejected having Aboriginal kids at the school,
Um,
So yeah, the education's got a interesting um background. And like I knew all this stuff, but I hadn't sort of put it
mhm.
in order. So yeah,
Yeah.
been
Yeah. And
interesting.
it's so important for people to know that stuff too, because this is within our lifetimes. It's within our
Oh,
children's lifetimes. So people have got to know what our history is towards our Indigenous population. Now, history does tell us who we were, but it doesn't define our future. So if we know
yeah.
our history, we can make sure that we change our actions so that we never go back to repeating that and to making sure that we don't introduce Peter Dutton's policies, for example.
Mm.
Yeah, or
Do
that we don't inadvertently support the Trump administration in any way with what they're doing, because
Yeah,
it's just unacceptable.
I don't think people realize just how close a lot of that stuff is. Like an old lady I lived next door to for many years, told me about her them walking in chains up to Kawanyama, was, and it's actually referred to in one of these books, which I'm really pleased about because it was just personal knowledge that, yeah, she had told me about this
Mm,
is what had
mm,
happened. And the really sad part of it was that she said we were better off then,
mm,
which, it was, her worry for people in the community these days. But
mm,
yeah, but I don't think people realize just like how, it is in living memory of
Mm.
people.
absolutely. Yeah. And if they chained up a bunch of white people, let's just say all of the white, the pale, stale males who perpetrate domestic violence, if they change them up and march them off to somewhere, Croydon, wherever,
Mm,
there would be an outcry,
mm,
absolute outcry.
yeah.
Yeah. But because it was Indigenous people, people just accepted it. I
Mm,
Yeah.
can't get my head around that. But that, I think, goes to show how strong culture is and popular culture with our views that we form about different people. And I worry at the moment, reading social media posts at the moment, there seems to be very few people who are saying that both Israel and Palestine both deserve protection, like the
mm,
people in both of those places, that we need peace.
yeah.
People are, they're polarized. They're either pro-Palestine or they're pro-Israel. So I find that interesting. I'm actually pro-peace.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, let's have
That's,
peace for everybody. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like there's lots of atrocities that have been done on both sides, but let's just go for peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And that's,
other
oh, sorry.
the other thing that I've started listening to, because I've been listening to this stuff I'm watching this stuff by frameworks, and they're all about framing things in ways that um, people will take on board. And so they were talking about how, framing it according to people's shared values. So that, like, for the same-sex marriage stuff, framing it as love is love, something that everybody, gets on a fairly deep level. And
Mm.
um, the Black Lives Matter campaign, and how there was particular framing around that for it, lots of background stuff for that to then that to take off. But the bloke who was talking about, and like they're talking about it in relation to framing the story of um, children, instead of as vulnerable or disadvantaged as, not having the same opportunities. And so, but the guy mentioned a book that called The Sum of Us. Have you come across
Yes,
that?
the sum of us. Yes. In fact, I think I have it.
Yeah. Well, I'm listening to it on audiobook, and it is so worth the listen. Yeah, by Heather someone.
Yeah, I
But
can't. It's
she actually narrates the story on Audible, which
yes.
is good.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not jumping out at me from the
but
bookshelf, so
yeah.
maybe I do have it on Audible as well. Yeah.
But yeah, just how what starts as policies against minorities, and racist stuff, and that ends up
Mm.
affecting well, everybody
Mm.
except those in the really top
Mm.
echelons. Yeah,
Geez,
yeah.
Anne-Marie, you sound like you're getting into my research here.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but yeah, so some really, I know, interesting stuff for my week.
Yeah. And that's a nice segue into mine, which absolutely parallels with yours. I have been struggling for a little while with starting another chapter because I was missing something. There was a jigsaw piece missing.
Mhm.
And I need to, when I write seriously, I need to start at the beginning and work my way through. So, as you both know, my writing is madwoman writing. It's a paragraph here, it's a paragraph there, all into the one document. But then when I'm ready to start the chapter, I go and formulate, but I've got to have that opening sentence, right? And I've been stuck because I couldn't work out what Gramsci meant with his model of social change, which Anne-Marie absolutely fits seamlessly with what you're talking about. His model is on the war of position. It is to persuade, to educate, and to organize. Right. And Anne-Marie, you were talking about values and the framing in
Mm.
the people's values. So Brene Brown talks about the 6 P's of change, which are value-based. Like we change according to our own values. But when you organize for change, so when you're going for mass movement, it's goal-driven. So you have to be able to, it's like the law of consensus. Consensus says that you don't have to agree with absolutely everything, but you have to agree that you can live with things that you might not 100% agree with,
Mm.
right? You get consensus on that. So same with organized change. When you're trying to change a whole group of people and you organize them to march against Indigenous people being marched to Croydon in chains, for example, you have to have the goal, and the goal might be equality for all, right? So that's the goal, not the individual values.
Mm.
So I've been trying to work out with Gramsci, how can you persuade, like what's the difference for him between persuasion and education? And I wish I'd known about Research Rabbit because it would have been so helpful. I'd searched everywhere. Well, the definitional tensions between those two terms. So, yesterday morning, I went back to one of the podcasts that I know talk about this stuff, and it frigging hit me like an iron hammer to the head. And I had it the wrong way around. So his
Oh,
model is actually not persuade, educate, organize. It's educate, persuade, organize. So as soon as I got that, it's only a subtle difference, but it makes all the difference because you can't persuade until you first educate.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So that has really, it hasn't held me up in terms of thinking and reading. It held me up in terms of writing, starting that first sentence. Yeah. So I immediately ran into Paul and said, I've got it. I've got it.
Eureka!
Yeah. And he was celebrating with me because he has to put up with me. And then we went out to dinner last night, and they asked me how I was going, and I shared my breakthrough, and they both got it as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a subtle change, but
Yeah.
they could absolutely see the constipant in
Yeah.
why I was trying to work this out. Like, how do you persuade before you educate? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
Megan, you should have seen that. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And it makes sense in like even with my stuff is because my aim, a lot of it is to educate, and that the other I know comes further down the line. Yeah.
yes,
But
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. And Gramsci's model is that you must continually do this.
yeah.
So there is no break, that you are continually educating
Educating,
and
yeah.
persuading and organize people into whatever it is that they need to be organized into. But that's actually the role of an organic intellectual. So that's your job as an organic intellectual, is to do those three things continually. And it doesn't create fast change. It creates slow cultural change that is
Yeah.
completely embedded into people's thinking and their behaviors, because it has been slow and because you have educated and continually persuaded.
Yeah. And it
Ah,
fits with one of the things, know whether it was in the framework guy talking or whether it was from the book. But yeah, no, I think it was from the framework guy about the need to educate the public, not the politicians. So you need to direct your stuff at the public because otherwise you've got to continually do it every time the
is it change?
politicians
Yeah,
change.
yeah,
You've got to do your education and convincing
yeah,
and stuff every time that you've actually got to do it at a population level
yeah,
so that whoever gets in has got this changed underlying value that all kids deserve an equal chance in
yes,
life, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and isn't it funny that so many people miss that? Like when we're networking, I see a lot of people that network up rather
Yeah.
than network sideways,
Yeah.
because they think that by networking up, they're going to get somewhere quicker, but you
Yeah.
don't. You've got to network across this way. Well, you can network up as well, of course. But this is where the power of change is in the masses of people. And I think social work gets that really well just because of our philosophies, our values, our ethics. Like we do understand that. And we locate the pathology in society, civil society, rather than individual. So that's something that we probably get quickly, but other people might not. But again, if you're continually educating and persuading about the difference and the potential change power, why wouldn't we all be doing that? And Anne-Marie, those 6 Ps of change, so the individual change items that Brene Brown talks about, they're actually moments of opportunity in which to capture education and persuasion. So that could also be really important for your thesis, not just mine.
It's interesting how when we started, I didn't think they were
Aligned.
connected at all. And then the further you go, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. But I read widely. I've read so many different masters, honors as well. And I get some great stuff from honors theses. God, we've got some great thinkers in Australia, like really switched on thinkers. So I get a lot of ideas from everywhere and not just in my own discipline.
Mm.
So I love reading some of the engineering ones. Like some of it's boring to me, but some of it is just like, wow. And physics, like, wow. Some of the
I
I
don't
don't even
understand
understand.
physics.
Sorry.
I don't understand physics.
Well, they speak a different language to me.
Yeah,
And yeah, yeah, but there's bits of them that's just like, wow, that's groundbreaking.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I really value that. But I just hope that one day somebody reads all of our theses
Mm.
and goes, wow.
Actually, I was looking at one of the articles. Oh, actually, it was the yarning one. Um, and I was looking, came across this Riley as one of the references. And so I then go to the reference list to just see if it is. And yes, it's a friend of mine, an Aboriginal guy who started life as a bricklayer and got his PhD. And yeah, um, yeah, so he is referenced in this
Yeah,
paper, and I thought it was so cool.
yeah, absolutely. Have you let him know?
No, I haven't. No, but I will.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's
My
excellent.
my brother and sister lived with Lyndon and his wife when they were all young.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And then he ended up working for RFDS. So yeah.
Yeah, crossover paths there.
Yeah, yeah.
And listen, did you know Valerie and Tony Hall Matthews?
No.
Okay, they were before your time.
I have known of them forever,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, I have Valerie's telephone number that has just come to me in the last 2 weeks. If
Oh,
you want to make contact with her, I think she's on the Tablelands. But my brother sent it to me. Valerie apparently wanted to chat with me about recycling stuff.
all right.
So he sent me the telephone number. Yeah. So if you need it,
Yeah,
I'll just
okay.
pass it on to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they must be in their 80s now.
Yeah, they'd be getting on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew them from my Cooktown days. So after they left Normanton, they moved to Cooktown.
I'm pretty sure it was him who wrote a thesis by hand. I'm pretty sure that's the story. That he it's not typed, it's a handwritten
Yep.
thesis, yeah.
For his theology degree or
I would say so, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah. He was pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he used to fly everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, which you have to do if you want to go to all of those little communities. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when the river's 4 meters over
Yeah.
and you can't swim because of those crocodiliacs.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit hard. Yeah. We went to the beach to walk the dog yesterday afternoon, and I've been picking up shells to make some just shell bottles. And I got a bit close to the water, so Paul had to sing out and say, "Hey, get away from that water's edge." And I said, "Oh, I think I'm far enough away." And he went, "Nah, get back here." Yeah, but it goes to show, when you've got your mind on something else, you just don't know. Yeah.
Mm.
And normally I have my earpods in when I'm walking the dog because I'm also listening to a podcast or, a book on Audible or whatever. Yeah, you wouldn't have a chance. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So what's everybody doing for the last day of the Easter break?
I've got a 6-hour essential qualitative research methods workshop, self-paced thing to do
Oh, yeah,
that I found in my Outlook junk folder.
yeah, yeah.
Bloody junk folders. Yeah, so that's my thing, and then I'll be tackling Azel's stuff
Yeah.
tomorrow
Yeah.
or
So
later on.
let me know what it's. Have you done that one, Megan? Or
Is it the masterclass, Doug, or which one is it?
no? It's
No, it's just
self-paced
a
one.
self-paced course on the essentials of
Okay,
qual.
yeah. No, I didn't do the essentials. I did the masterclass.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've registered for the masterclass, which has been delayed because she's got theatre on that day.
She's got what? Oh, theatre.
Theatre,
So
getting knocked.
had she broken her wrist when you saw her this week or not?
Actually, she did have her arm in a sling. I did notice that. She
Yeah,
didn't say anything, but I did notice that she had a sling on.
yeah,
But what sort of went through my mind, I wonder is that something she needs all the time, or has
yeah.
something
Is it? Yeah,
happened?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
not
So,
knowing her well. Yeah.
so Doug, did she email you and just say she'd broken her wrist?
It's just an internal message on LinkedIn,
Oh,
and how
okay.
she had broke why she hadn't sort of caught up with her emails,
Yeah,
and how she had refunded one of the master classes that I had enrolled to do.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, just that she was a bit behind because of the.
yeah, yeah. And she's on her own. Like she's a sole trader.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
she doesn't have any other assistance. She has to do it
Mm.
all on her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
no, so she's offered a different date or a recording or a refund, whatever works
whatever
for
people
people.
need.
But
Yeah.
I just need to have a look at the dates. I think it'll be, I'll yeah, go with it either way, but just check the dates, and see how that fits.
I always learn from what other people say as well, because often they will ask a question that I haven't thought of. So
Yeah.
I learn from that, and then I learn from the response to the question. So I like being in a live class or watching the recording of a live class.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very good. And Doug, for you with
Yeah.
complete thesis support,
Yeah.
do you have now access to the group that I have access to, like everybody?
I haven't
Yeah.
signed in.
Yep.
I
Okay.
just signed up.
So the
Last night, and then
way
I thought I better
Azelle
go.
works
Yeah.
in the bigger group is that there's a Google Doc that if you've got a question, you can
Mm.
just put your question into that
Okay.
doc. And then at our next big get-togethers, where everybody all over the world jumps
Mm.
in, they go through the questions and answer the
Okay.
questions from the particular specialists. So
Yeah.
they've got a mindset specialist, and they've also got a person who's really good with data management
Yeah.
and analysis. She does
Mm.
both qualitative and quantitative.
Yeah.
So I've asked a question for Thursday is the next big get together, and I've asked a question for that on can I use the word pedagogy interchangeably in research as methodology? Is that acceptable? Because
Okay.
I just couldn't find a
No.
conclusive answer anywhere. I know that the two are different, but when you're doing research, can
Yeah.
those terms be used interchangeably? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could have just gone to bloody that rabbit site. That probably would have helped me and saved me hours of work, but I didn't know about it then. In fact, I'm going to do it very shortly. I'll put that in.
Yeah, yeah. Have a play with it because um, if you're after particular things,
Yeah,
or even broad stuff, yeah, it looks like it's really good. And like I said, I'm not very comfortable with the whole AI thing because there's so much unknown about it's acceptability and
Mm.
and it's not your voice then, like,
No.
and
If you write according to AI, or
yeah,
AI rewrites for you, no.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you can't anyway, because the universities have algorithms that pick all of that stuff up. And you've
yeah,
got to run it through, is it iAuthenticate?
Yeah,
Yes.
authenticate.
yeah,
Authenticate, yeah.
Yeah.
So Authenticate actually gives you a score of how close you're sailing to the wind. This is
yeah.
too similar to stuff that's AI generated. Sorry, Doug, what were you going to say?
No, I just think, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So just so you both know, when you do run your stuff through Authenticate, you can ask it to exclude references.
yeah,
Yeah. And that was Tara, that you're probably in that same session, Doug.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you ask it to exclude references, because I cut and paste all my references.
Ah,
Yeah. So I go to the library and I don't use EndNote, right?
okay.
So I copy the citation and I just drop it straight into my working documents. So that, of course, is going to come up as you have plagiarized from the internet. We've detected that this lives on the internet somewhere. So you just exclude references.
Yeah,
And
even if it
And
comes out of
exclude
EndNote,
quotes
it does that.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
yeah.
and exclude quotes as well.
Exclude the quotes. Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct. Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't have
any.
too many direct quotes
No.
except for from participants. So I think
Mm,
I'm okay there.
yeah, you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, all of these little things. Yeah. That if we weren't doing research, we wouldn't know about this stuff.
No.
All right then, my cherubs. Anne Marie, what are you doing today for the rest of your holiday? Rest of your
Uh,
break?
I've got too many options. I could continue with my reference thing on Excel that I'm working out, because I'm pretty excited about how that's going to work and help me structure things. Like, I have written a literature review, but yeah, and then working out how long it's going to be, how much stuff I put in it. Um,
And
but
you're visual. So this is a great way for you to see it with that
yeah.
color blocking of the themes. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I've been asked to do presentation for teachers in May, on one's on self-care and behavior management, emotional regulation stuff. And the other one's on trauma, and impact on behaviors.
Yeah.
Um, so I've got those presentations to finish off. So who knows?
Is this for like an in-service for teachers
Yeah,
or?
it's for new teachers in the Gulf.
Ah,
Yeah, so they're
okay.
bringing Doomadgee and Mornington and the Normanton ones, but just the ones that are new to teaching in the Gulf. They
Yeah.
usually give them a term, and
Yeah.
then because particularly if they're new teachers, new from uni as well, they know everything when they first arrive here and don't want to do any additional training.
Yeah.
But after they've had a term, they often go, "Oh, yes, actually,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
know a
Yeah.
bit more
That's
would be
fair.
good."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And are you going to give them all a copy of one of your books too? Maybe Emotional
yeah, yeah,
Storms?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I think that's great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Make them
I'm
pay
going to
for it.
be, sorry,
Make
Dave?
them pay for the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if they can.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Anne Marie, are you doing this for free, or is this a paid gig for you?
I'm doing it as a paid thing, and have told them they could have the books at cost price.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
At least you're getting the stats for the sale of the books then as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to be the odd one out while you two are working. I'm going out for coffee with my darling heart, and
mm,
then
Yeah.
I'll come home and work. That is, as long as there is somewhere open here for coffee today.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
well,
yes.
I
Yeah.
don't think anything in town will be open today because we had the fishing comp over the weekend and everybody, I think, worked really hard to, cater for people for that. And I think today they've gone, yeah,
Yeah. Nah.
fend for yourself.
Yeah. Cook at home, guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cherubs. Thank you. It's always wonderful to catch up with you. And we
Mhm.
need to get new blood in here. So I don't know what else to do. You will have seen the LinkedIn stuff. Actually, is anybody else having trouble tagging on LinkedIn at the moment on the phone? So every time I go to tag one of you two, it just won't let me.
Well, I tried to tag Adele yesterday, and all that it did on in the when I was writing it out, but when I pressed enter or submitted it, her name wasn't highlighted.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I don't know if it's the usual thing because I'm pretty new to this whole LinkedIn
Mm.
thing. I needed to put at before
Yes.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
the
do.
usual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it worked when I did that.
On
Uh,
your phone or on desktop?
oh, yeah, I don't do much on my phone. My eyesight's not really good enough to do much on my phone.
Yeah. So Doug, did you have trouble on your phone?
I think I did that on the computer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I generally do all social media on my phone, and often I pre-schedule so
Mm.
that
Yeah.
I'm not actually doing it, but I pre-schedule for first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But there is the odd occasion where, I'm lying in bed doing my social media. Only LinkedIn, because I will not do Meta anymore. Like,
Mm.
bugger you. Yeah. Yeah, but it won't tag on my phone, but it will on this. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. First world problem. There are many
Problems,
more problems.
yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right, cherubs, have a
Okay.
wonderful day, and I will see you next week. And Doug, hopefully I will see you actually in some of Azel's stuff as well.
Yeah. Once
Yeah,
I organise, work out how it all works
yeah, yeah.
and all that, I hope to see you there.
All right. See you all. Thank you.
Okay. See
Bye.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.